Reaching 10,000 followers on TikTok is a huge milestone. And now that I'm recently celebrating my 20,000 follower milestone on TikTok, I wanted to share some tips and tricks I learned to get where I am today. I know a lot of people are trying to hit that 10K mark and it seems daunting. And I'm going to explain what happened for me. And this is not a scheme or a hack to show you how to get like famous overnight. If that's what you want, go ahead and keep scrolling. This is how I'm going to explain how we use consistent dedication and research to get where we want to go. So I'll start off by talking about what I did right. And what I did right was posting at least 20 times a day. That was my minimum. I started off with just 10 posts a day, but then I was like, I need to kick it up a notch. And keep in mind, I was not monetized on TikTok at this point, so I had absolutely no reason to have videos that were 61 seconds or more, which is the monetization requirement for the Creator Rewards program. I was okay with 10-second, 30-second videos, right? As long as they were catching the algorithm, as long as they were content that made people want to come back to watch my channel. That's what I was focused on. And that helped me tremendously because you need to focus on growth because 10K followers is worthless to you if you don't have engagement, if you don't have an audience that cares about what you're going to do next. I also made good use of the creator search insights to see what was trending at the time, to see what other successful videos were doing from other creators. And, I studied these trends. I capitalized on my viral videos. I would make reply videos. It was the little things that added up over time. So now let's talk about what I did wrong, which is a lot. I think one of my most debilitating or self-sabotaging was a better word, traits was comparing myself to others. I would see people make it overnight and I would just be like, why not me, right? Just go ahead and stop worrying about everyone else. What they're doing or not doing has no influence on what you should be doing. Now, if they're doing something that's succeeding, see what they're doing and see if you can apply it to your own content. But other than that, don't pay attention. I also expected one viral video. So about 3 years ago, I had my first viral video that reached 2.4 million views to be my deciding factor for success. I was like, all right, I finally made it. It's gonna take off from here. Every other video I made was right back in 300 view jail. And the only videos that were gaining traction were videos of similar content to my successful one or reply videos that I made on the comments of that successful one. So, one video is not going to be just a game winning home run. That's going to be 1 point. It's going to be one drop in the bucket. Something else I was doing wrong, and you just saw it right then. Dead air. You need to learn how to cut out dead air. I left it in intentionally because I wanted to show you how that awkwardness could cause people to scroll away. It could cause you to lose retention. So it's okay to clip your videos. TikTok is supposed to be clipped anyways. A lot of my videos, you'll see me clipping and then finishing the sentence at a different camera angle, and that's because I had to pause and think about what I was going to say next. And you don't want to sit there and watch me think. And you don't want to watch me the dog went to pause Walmart. See, you don't have time for that. You're here to be entertained or informed. And you definitely don't want to spend time on content styles that are not working for you. Just because it's working for everyone else, if it's not working for you and you gave it an honest try, move on to something else. I could never get anywhere with certain styles that I saw other people doing, and that's okay. It was frustrating, but I was like, you know what? My path is going to be different. And once you accept that, content creation becomes a lot less frustrating and you're able to focus on what actually does work for you. And remember, just because you can't do something that other people do does not mean you're not going to make it as a content creator. You're just going to take your own way to get there. And I apologize for the redundancy right there, guys. I just really wanted to emphasize that point. Now, another key factor here is networking, and that's not just for TikTok, that's for growing on any platform, your social life, your personal life, whatever. Networking is important, but there is a right way and a wrong way to network, and I see a lot of people networking the wrong way. In fact, it's one of the worst possible ways. The wrong ways to network are follow for follow groups, growth rooms. You ever see a TikTok live and somebody's like, oh, welcome to my bestie room. What we're going to do is we're going to follow the host, and then we're going to follow everybody in the comments or everybody that gives gifts. The only person that really benefits from that is the host themselves, because they're taking advantage of the fact that you want to grow on TikTok. And what's going to happen is you're going to gain followers, but they're going to be empty followers because there are going to be other people trying to reach that mark, and they probably don't care about your content. Very few of them are going to engage with you the way you engage with them. And your FYP is going to be like just cluttered with content that you couldn't give two rats buckets about. So avoid that, avoid that, avoid that. And yeah, these artificial shortcuts, they only hurt your channel in the long run. And they're very transparent. They're very obvious looking. Like when you see someone doing that, you're like, okay, the only reason they have their following is because they followed for follow. Their content is dog. You don't want that to be you. What I think is the right way to network. And this is not the only way. Actually, there are other ways to do this. There are plenty of other ways to do this, but this is what has worked for me. And that's basically building genuine relationships. So I stitched a lot of my TikToks. In fact, my first viral video was a stitch. And a lot of my other viral videos were stitches of viral videos where I would put my 2 cents in or add on top of what the original creator did. That was helping me because, one, I was networking with other creators. I was getting in front of the eyes of other audience members, and that helped me grow. And some of those creators ended up following me, and we ended up building relationships. We ended up building future collaborations. So, extend an olive branch with the creator if you think the vibe is right, if you think you're a good fit for each other. And if they accept the olive branch, then great. If not, no worries, move on to the next person. You don't want to force a relationship, just offer it. And you are going to meet a lot of a-holes when you're networking. There are a lot of people on TikTok that never mentally went past the high school bully phase of their life. So just keep that in mind. But there are some cool people, and don't let what I just said discourage you. So what happened, another thing that happened for me was TikTok live battles. I love doing the battles, not because of the gifts, but because I was able to network with people. I met so many cool people on TikTok that I still talk to this day through the live battles. The gifts were just a bonus for me. And, that is another way to monetize if that's the route you want to go. I managed to pay for my trip to San Diego that year with the money I made on TikTok live alone. So they're definitely worth something. But yeah. I think it's also important to explain the type of content that I made that went viral for me. They always talk about finding your niche, right? Well, I guess these were 3 of my niches. You don't have to be confined to just one. So my successful niches for my content were my anti-HOA videos, because I used to make videos talking about how much I hated living in my HOA, and I still do. People found that very relatable because they had similar frustrations, and I also made them entertaining to watch. And also, you had all the people, well, if you don't like HOAs, don't buy one, because they don't understand that they're hard to avoid these days. But that's a whole separate issue. My customer service content, I grew up working for my family business, so I talked about the Karens that I had to deal with and continue to deal with in my own business today. People who work in customer service, they relate to that. They love hearing those stories because it legitimizes what they deal with at their own work. So there's another one. Then my restaurant reviews. I do a lot of restaurant reviews, and that helps me get into the local algorithms of wherever those restaurants are located. Because when you see a restaurant in the town that you live in on your feed, you're going to stop and scroll. You're going to stop from scrolling, right? And you're going to be like, hey, I just ate there, or I've been curious about this place. And you're going to see someone eat there and be like, all right, maybe I'll give them a shot, or maybe not. I usually get positive reviews anyways, because I don't like bad-mouthing other businesses. So I usually just delete the bad reviews. I was like, I don't want to post this. But anyways, so, I had my local FYP, I had my relatable content, I had all that, and each one of those niches had an audience. So find what works for you, and remember, it's not going to happen overnight. In fact, if it happens overnight, you are very lucky, but you are in a very rare subset of people. A lot of people get to where they are by consistency. And consistency is what separates people who are serious about a goal and people who just want a goal. Remember, a goal without a plan is just a dream. So, but getting to 10,000 followers, it wasn't just one video. It wasn't just me being at the right place at the right time. It was me showing up every day and remembering, like, even though this is kind of a far-fetched goal, if others have made it, why not me? And I'm going to do the same thing here on YouTube eventually. You'll eventually see a play button behind me because I'm not going to give up regardless of what the obstacles are. I hope you found this video informative, and if you did, please consider clicking that subscribe button. If you want to fact check that I am who I say I am on TikTok, my name is You Call Me a Sheik, and that's going to be linked here below. So if you want to be like, okay, he actually does have the following to back up what he says, there's that. Have a great day. Don't compare yourself to others, and crush your goals.